Well, hey everyone. I am so excited to join my good friend Danielle Doss here on this conversation about nurture. Danielle and
Yeah.
her husband Brandon oversee a multi-campus site at a church in Alabaster, Alabama, and as well as Columbiana.
Yep,
Their
yep,
church is Cultivate Church.
yep.
And they are a team of co-pastors. I love the way that you guys are pastoring there, but you guys have just recently joined Nurture, brought Nurture onto your church, and I'm already loving the way that you guys are using this system. I had to get right on and join this conversation so you and I could talk about it.
I
So,
am the number one fan of Nurture, so I
good.
can't wait. I
I
can't wait.
love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Well, really, Danielle, our heart is so grateful because you're already spreading the word and talking about it. Not just, yes, you're seeing results, but
yeah,
before you even, after the demo, you were already talking about the potential and the problems that this could solve within your
yeah,
church. But
yeah.
even spreading the word that this problem is universal. So tell us straight out of the gate, what was the problem you were hoping to solve when you brought Nurture onto Cultivate?
Well, I can't gatekeep this because, it wasn't my like, it was as all, like, holy people do, they share one's meal around a Mexican, good dish, and I was talking to some other, lead pastors that are actually out in Texas, and,
Yeah,
we kinda get, like, real geeky about numbers and just different systems and structures and that sort of stuff, and she
yeah,
was the one that mentioned Nurture to me, and it was an immediate, like, "You know what? Let me just see.
yeah,
Honestly, let me see what they would have to offer." I feel like I handle, like, the back office, especially on planning side, pretty smoothly, and I like to kinda figure out the systems and how I can make something, like, manipulate in terms of how it could work for our church,
yeah.
but it's just me, and it's just a failed system, and I mean that respectfully because there's just so many variables, right? There's so
Right,
many different
right,
ways to miss people.
right.
And while it is just my brain or maybe even the staff, like we cannot collectively think of every single person. Think it I don't think it matters on the church size. I think it's is if you have 150, if you have a 10,000, like to be able to say, "Have you seen so and so, so and so? I
Yes.
haven't seen them come through the doors." And you just feel like a failure as a pastor if you just forget
Oh,
someone,
yeah.
because it's our heart is to see people and to always like we always say at our church, every person matters and no one's just a face in the crowd. And, to
That's
me,
right.
that is what nurture is. And you're right, we have already
Yeah,
seen some really cool, just feedback and, like the reports that we get in our emails. It's just been really encouraging because
yeah.
any system is gonna work if you work
Yes.
it.
That's
And,
right. I like
it's
that.
beautiful to see how this is working. It is my heartstring, to for people to be seen.
Good. Okay. Well, you just told on yourself. You are a highly operational, you think in strategy, you think in systems and processes. So, talk to the pastor out there that's like, I don't know if I have what it takes to use this tool to
Sure.
pastor
Oh,
the
sure.
congregation. How has that been? Because you have a pastoral heart, you're a lead
Yeah.
pastor,
Yeah,
and you
that's right.
have this strategy mind. So, how have those two giftings really tied together to see nurture work? To be
Okay, that's
so
so good.
strategic and smart, but also to relationally engage your congregation. How's that
Yeah,
work?
that's perfect. Well, I will say that nurture makes it very smooth as
Good,
in terms of being able to just it's very simple to
good.
go through and see who's at risk, who's disengaged, who's no longer with you.
Yeah.
I will say, as a church planner, uh, every person that was ever entered into our database has history with me, and
Yes.
not just me in general, but like it would pain me to say they're not a part of the church because at some point they may have registered their kid for an outreach event, and I
Yeah.
just had a hard time saying goodbye to that person,
Yeah,
right?
stay with us.
I know, but we're doing a disservice to the people that are with us.
Right.
Whenever you're
Yeah.
overcrowding your
Mm.
system, like whatever system that you may use. And so it was really first off for me, nurture was just an easy way to say, okay, this is what is true.
Yeah.
If this is, if they are not with us right now, if they have gone on and they are at a different church or they're in a different, they've moved for whatever reason. Okay, that's well, like they're no longer our sheep to shepherd, right? But now I can
Yes.
really look at who is there, who's at risk, or this is my very favorite thing. Who has been coming to the church for a minute and has been engaged and I didn't have one single clue. And it's because maybe
Yes.
between missing in both campuses, I may have missed their face, or maybe they're filling out a connect card and I just haven't caught on to it. Nurture has allowed for us to be able to flag and see exactly who it is that maybe is the perfect person to come in and join the team or to get plugged
Yes.
into small groups or whatever their gifting is to plug them in.
No,
Yeah.
that is so good. I love that you're already talking about all that those soft leads that we give in potential
Yeah.
and new
Yeah.
categories. But how are you guys dreaming about using some of those people who are coming up as new or potential?
Yeah, I love that. So, specific to my role, I am the directional pastor, and I exclusively look for people to join the team so they can use the gifts that God has given them
Yeah.
to not only serve the local church, but also like highlight the gift that God's given them to serve the people that are in their sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And so, it helps me specifically to be able to say, "Hey, I noticed dot 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 that you really connect well with dot dot dot," or
Yeah.
whatever, and it just personalizes it for them.
No,
So
that's
it's
so
not
good.
just this like blanket scenario that I'm sending out, or it doesn't feel impersonal whenever I'm sending a text to someone, um, where it's just as like, "Hey, missed you, da 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 da."
Yeah.
We're already stepping ahead, or, "Hey, I've seen you do dot dot dot," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know anybody was paying attention."
No, and
So,
that is
that's
the
been pretty cool.
whole heart of nurture is that people feel seen and
Yeah.
valued. So in both categories, either at risk or new, we want people to say, "Hey, we noticed. We noticed that you haven't been, serving and you're at your normal post or you served for the first time." That I love that you are already seeing strategy and use cases for both engagement categories. So
Yeah.
proactive and reactive.
Yeah,
So
that's
what's the
right.
strategy on reactive? How are you engaging some of those at-risk congregants?
I think as a pastor, it's important to know who and where your people are.
Yeah.
And so, say for instance, I'll use I guess I'll say Jane Doe. It pops
Danger.
up at risk,
Protecting
right?
the innocent. Yes.
I see that they're at risk, and I also know that they've been on bed rest or that
Yeah.
they've been on maternity leave, and it would be really easy just to say, "Oh, we just know they're not gonna be here," and move them out, out of sight, out of mind. But that's not the heart, like, that's not how God would have us see his people.
So
And
good.
so
And
it's allowed for us to say, "Don't forget about Jane Doe," who really probably will need a lot more people to surround her because she's gonna be isolated for a few weeks, you know what I
no,
mean?
that's so
So
good.
the reactive is seeing people for where they are.
Yeah.
I spoke to a school teacher and I just happen to know a little bit of the backstory of where she teaches. They tragically lost a teacher a few weeks ago. I haven't seen this woman in a few weeks. And so I just sent out a text that, hey, if there's anything that we can do to better pastor you, to love on you, please let us know. I mean, it's been weeks since we've seen their
Yeah.
face and they were at church this past Sunday. It's not a manipulative
No
game.
way.
It's a way for them to know they're not forgotten. And
Yes.
so it's
No,
just so cool to
absolutely.
see how that actually comes to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That is so good. I was gonna say what's a really cool testimony, but you guys, you've only been in the system, what, maybe 2 weeks, and you're already
sure.
seeing
Yeah,
people not just move from at risk back to active, but they're re-engaging and coming back to church. We hear stories like that all the time, and so it's encouraging to me to see with you are the only person right now that is
yeah,
actually
it's just me.
working nurture on your staff, correct?
At this moment, that's right.
Yeah. So just one person taking the time to get in there and check cards and profiles and find out what's going on in people's lives, you're already seeing people move back into the body, which is the whole point,
Yeah.
like you're saying.
Yeah.
So
I I
good.
hate to, like, I don't wanna bring this down, but I think the why matters.
Yeah.
We lost someone tragically yesterday, that someone
Oh my
committed
goodness.
suicide. It's just sad. It's just heartbreaking to
Yeah.
walk with someone, and, it's not the first time that we've walked with, a family in this kind of grief,
Danielle, I'm so
but
sorry.
I also, like, it's because of the platform of nurture that we're able to not forget about her niece or nephew,
Mhm.
that because we're able to tie in how they are related, how
Yeah.
there's connections in
Yeah.
with it. It just really helps us better to see
Danielle.
someone and where they are, and it's real life. Like, this isn't just, "Oh, it's another system, we hope it works for the church." It's a beautiful tool to be able to pastor people better.
Well, I don't even know where to go from there. That was so beautiful and so honest, and I really appreciate the authenticity. We are talking all the time about how to help pastors get better and have more just feel more capable in moments just like that. One of the ways that
Mhm,
we're thinking of implementing is just even creating some status where you can change text to private or public so that when people come back with a response that seems a little more heavy in nature, you can make that a little more reserved so that not everyone within nurture is seeing that. But
yeah,
then the pastor that it's assigned can follow up and continue that conversation, but in a way that's not blasting how hard of a season that person's walking through. So it was literally based on this exact conversation. Someone reached out to a congregant who was at risk, and they had a loved one who had just taken their life. And so there was just so much that was around this conversation that created action for Nurture to take because we want to help churches pastor their people better.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's really crazy that this exact scenario happened within your community. I'm so
mhm.
sorry, truly, but
Well,
I love that you
thank you.
shared that. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I debated on even sharing it because it is very sensitive, of course, but this is real life and
yeah,
you're dealing with real people and real problems. And
yeah,
I think that it's just
yeah,
helpful when you're in a place of wanting to help someone that's not just going through the back door or coming in the front door, but the people that are here and now within
absolutely,
your reach. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, can I ask you a practical question?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so how much time I mean, come on, you're lead pastors. You guys are sharing so much responsibility. How much
Hmm.
time? I know you love it. So I will say, the average user of Nurture, how much time are you spending in the platform on a daily basis?
Her. I don't know what a good answer is for that because I am a nerd, I super do, but I will say, while I like the whole, like, I wanna follow up, I want instant results, right? Like, I wanna
Yes.
be able to see that person move, and it does pain me because it's a true you're not gonna see results unless you are working it, meaning, unless that person shows up to attend an experience or a service, or unless that person gives, or unless that person so there is that side of it,
Yeah.
but, time-wise, I would say maybe collectively, probably an hour throughout the week,
Yeah.
which
That is
is
so
not
good.
it's not like that is you would do that and spend that much time doing any other thing that you're doing.
No, I love that. That's kind of the general consensus where if you are active and you're already seeing those engagements swift so or switch. So just about an hour on average of checking in and engaging with people, making those touch points. And I think that that's awesome. So and you're
Yeah,
a super
yeah.
user. So way to go. Way to go.
That's
Well,
right.
I know a conversation is gonna be about rolling it out to your staff. How are you talking about nurture to your staff before they're all the way on board? Are you showing them what's going on yet?
Yeah,
Talk to me a little bit
yeah.
about that process of bringing them in.
That's a great question. So because I cannot assign them right now, I will
Yes.
still pull, and I know who that person is already tied to. So I'll just write it on a sticky note
Yeah.
or I'll send an email and I'll say, "Hey, do you mind following up with so and so? Do you mind asking how we can better pastor this family?" And yes, we're already seeing results from that. And I'm not even assigning them. I'm not even like putting their name to it yet. And we're already seeing it. Yeah.
That is so good. I love it.
I
You're like, "I'm still doing it old school. I've got a new
Y
school tech, and I'm still
That's
writing out
right.
the notes."
While I'm trapped without it, without the
Yes.
at least their capacity to be able to do it. It's
No.
so funny because I have, like, these victory dances in my head when I see someone in the lobby that I will have said to our next gen pastor or somebody
Yeah.
that I'll say, "Hey, have you checked in with?" And then
Yes.
I see them and I'm like, "I know." Like, "I know."
I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, Danielle, we're so grateful that you and Cultivate Church are part of our Nurture family. We have loved coming alongside you guys. And really, we always say this to all of our churches, but we feel like we become an extension of the ministry that you guys are doing there in Alabama. So thank you from the bottom of
100%.
our hearts for letting us come along with how you guys are pastoring your flock. And we're just so, so grateful that you guys would implement Nurture. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, it is. I told my husband, I said, "Oh, they're already family. They're just family." And so thank you for being that. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thanks for having a conversation with me today, Danielle. You guys are the best, and I can't wait to hear more in the future.